You have to go straight down on that shit. Yeah, look.
Hold on. We're not supposed to go over this bridge. It's pretty though. Sorry, my bad.
Today, let's talk about the Santa Cruz V10 version 3. I've owned a V1 5010 for the past 3 years and become very familiar with what it's good at and where it fell short. And to put it simply, the V1 today would be outgunned by bikes with even less travel. Geometry updates have really let you get more out of less travel, and the Scout I've been riding for the past month is a prime example of that. I have a 1-month review of the Scout already posted if you want to check that out.
Send it! Yes! Juki conquered the creek.
Now, let's talk about the bike demo process for a minute. Getting a demo bike for like 45 minutes, possibly or not possibly set up right for you, isn't always the best way to decide on which bikes you like. But you can usually get a feel for what that bike is about. I loved my old bike. I've been really curious how updates felt. The geometry is a lot more progressive now, with a 66.5 degree head angle in high, down to 66.2 in low. Longer front center, but they opted not to use the reduced offset fork.
Made it.
I went with the large because I wanted to feel how it pedaled in the seated position, and I didn't want to feel cramped like I had been on the Scout. It took less than a mile to really appreciate the VPP. The solid platform I was used to on my old bike was still very present, if not better. The bike felt quite a bit lighter than the Scout, but a quick check on the shock O-ring showed I was using most of the shock even over moderate terrain. I actually stopped and added some pressure because I noticed that Santa Cruz demos tend to be on the soft side. After I aired up the 5010, it felt great. But I couldn't find a feature big enough to fully bottom it out, but there was a few smallish drops, and I kinda got a feel for how it ramped up, which definitely felt like an improvement over the V1, but it wasn't quite as progressive as the Scout.
Like butter. Just punch your front wheel on it. Oh, sorry, you guys have been here a while, haven't you?
My friend had taken out the size medium, which by the numbers was a size I thought I was going to want, but jumping on his, it didn't quite feel as efficient when I pedaled up the fire road, and it felt a little more squirrely on the way down. I'm only 5'9", with a 30-inch inseam. I'm right on the borderline of the Santa Cruz sizing. I would definitely choose to size up on this one. They had the bike set up in the low flip chip setting, and it made me curious to try it in high. With the amount of rocks we have, a higher BB can be a big advantage. But being able to easily drop it down for bike park or flowy trails has risen to the top of the list of features I can really appreciate. That Scout's BB is very low, and once you hit the sag point, I was getting a lot of pedal strikes with it.
That was pretty good. Oh.
You have to go straight down on that shit. Yeah, look.
Fine.
The demo ride was pretty short, and overall it feels like they kept the character of my V1 while making it stiffer and more confident, which is pretty much what I've been looking for. The rear triangle now joins the shock mount from both sides, thanks to being a dedicated 1x bike. Comparing it to the Ripley, I feel like it gets off the line a little quicker, and I didn't really get any of the feeling of getting more hung up on rocks. But since I rode on 2 different trails, I'm going to say, if you're a 29 rider, the Ripley is probably your jam. If you're still hanging on to the playful feeling of 27.5 bikes, take a look at this 5010. I hope I get to try out the new Tallboy and Hightower. Maybe I will find myself converting over to the 29.